Welcome. Steve Falk is the new president and CEO of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce, and he previously served as the publisher and president of the San Francisco Chronicle. Welcome and congratulations.
Great to be here. Thank you.
There's been many presidents of the Chamber of Commerce, and each brings with it, with their talents, their background. And your background is media. Your background is the Chronicle and newspapers. How has it already helped you to formulate your goals and your mission, what you want to do under your tenure?
Well, for one thing, I've been a part of this city for the past 18 years. But I think more important than my background in journalism is my passion for San Francisco and for the future of San Francisco, and I'm absolutely thrilled about this new role at the Chamber.
What do you now the chambers, you go into any directory of any chamber in the country, and generally they're the cheerleaders for the business community. They tend to stay away from controversy. They tend to just have their luncheons, put out their brochures and so on. Any small town USA. In San Francisco, it's a little bit different. There's a different challenge here.
Well, it's very much different in San Francisco. While a part of the chamber is certainly a cheerleader for the development and attraction and retention of business in San Francisco, this chamber does take on the tough issues and needs to take on the tough issues. We suffer here with this perception, and it's more than a perception. It's somewhat a reality of being less than a business-friendly city, and that needs to change.
And you saw that as at the Chronicle, your editorials, your concerns for the city were very clear, even though the Chronicle often supported a lot of the social issues in San Francisco when it came to infrastructure building, business retention, taxes, business taxes, so on. I mean, your paper, when you were there, was very clear about their position. How do you bring that perspective in this challenge of dealing with a city that has the reputation, and it's continued to perpetuate the reputation of being anti-business?
Well, the challenge is at many levels. I mean, the first and foremost is dealing with the Board of Supervisors, the Mayor's office, government officials, to make sure there's an understanding that for all of us to enjoy this great way of life and style of living that we're accustomed to in San Francisco takes a healthy business climate. And a healthy city means healthy businesses. Businesses pay taxes, they pay payroll taxes, real estate taxes, and really support the quality of life that
and they create jobs.
Absolutely.
That's the core.
Job creation and job growth is the core of a robust, healthy business environment.
Exactly. And okay, so you took over when? When did you take over as president?
Officially, December 1st, 2005.
And how long will you be president and CEO?
How long
will be your tenure?
What will be my tenure? I hope to be the president and CEO of the chamber for,
I thought it
for
changed
a long time.
every year, every 2 years.
No.
Oh, I see.
There is a yearly chair of the chamber that's on a rotating basis, but the president and CEO of the chamber is a paid position.
Got it. Okay, so you have an opportunity of making a real difference here. I mean, what's called business leadership it seems to be very fragmented in San Francisco. You have small business leaders, you have corporate leaders, you have the jobs committee, it's large employers.
Yes.
You have SFSOS, and on and on and on, and even the Business Times for that matter. And it seems like never has that group come together and spoken with one voice. Does it need to?
Absolutely. The bad news is the business community in the city is very fragmented. There are business association groups that represent businesses based on geography, based on type of business, based on size of business. Fortunately, and the good news is, the Chamber is the largest business association in the city, representing 2,000 businesses. And we also have to overcome the perception that the Chamber is a big business downtown organization. The reality is we represent 2,000 businesses, every size and shape, every geography of the city. So we are truly the umbrella organization that is now working on bringing together the other business associations, the healthcare issue being a perfect example of being the convener of businesses for the good of all.
So that is a goal that you want to achieve that I haven't seen in the time that I've been observing and being in politics here, that the chamber's ever wanted to take on that role of actually consolidating the various groups. It seemed like it was very content with just representing its membership.
Well, I don't think consolidating is the best way to describe, as opposed to being the convener of business, being an umbrella organization that speaks for the business community. And businesses will, I'm sure, always have their specialty groups, but the chamber needs to take a more active role in this city, in my opinion, a more active role in public policy, a more active role in economic development as the umbrella organization representing the business community.
How do you do that with such a diverse membership to begin with? I mean, there's always been the conflict between small business and large business, and that really flared up during recent business tax proposals in the last or previous election cycle. Small business feels like that they're even on this health council. It seems that the small business community is not represented on that council, and they sent out blasts of emails and faxes, and they're the ones most affected. How do you balance the needs of the small businesses in the chamber with the large corporations? Those interests aren't always
the easy answer is to be sure there's a structure within the chamber public policy committees, that there's a small business committee, that there's large business committee, and that those two feed into the public policy committee. So all the voices are heard at the chamber, each with its own priorities, but heard with an equal voice.
You admit there'll be times where the chamber can't take a position because the membership is so divided that you would be hurting one group versus the other. I mean, for example, I think this universal health care, since small businesses are most susceptible to the legislation. Large corporations have a lot of health care already provided. How do you go about then taking that example as head of the chamber to balance the needs of the small businesses when the large corporations are really not going to be affected by a universal health care proposal?
Well, there's no doubt certain issues will mean the chamber has to focus specifically on one type of business or another. We're talking today to the Grocers Association about some proposed legislation that may come up in that particular area that would only affect grocers. So the chamber needs to be very flexible, needs to be very light on its feet, and very willing to, look at the segments of the business community in addition to providing the umbrella organization.
Okay, now let's in the time we have left, look at your vision of how you see the future of business in San Francisco. There are no more Fortune 500 companies or 100 companies in San Francisco. There's a lot of formation of new companies in San Francisco, small new companies, and there's some wonderful corporations that have survived here. But with the reputation the city has across the country, what do you do as the chamber to create the infrastructure and the environment for more companies coming here, creating jobs, and retaining what companies are growing and then want to leave because of the environment?
Well, that's a big question, but it really encompasses the overall goal and mission of the chamber. First, in the area of economic development, we have the Center for Economic Development. That is the go-to source for new businesses or expanding businesses that are looking for office space, or looking for land, looking for instruction on the procedures to build an office building or to rent space in an office building. And then we have the whole public policy arena. I think the key to keeping businesses in the city is for them to feel like they have a voice at the table, and not everything will take a business direction, but businesses need to feel like they have a place at the table for the discussion.
Let me ask the question a different way. I was thinking while you're talking. I mean, there's some who say that no matter what city government does, it doesn't make any difference. The city's going to grow the way it wants to grow. No board of supervisors, no mayor can have that significant of a change. Willie Brown had some significant change when he kept UCSF here. That led to the whole biotech and the Mission Bay project. But how much real effect do these policies out of City Hall have within what kinds of companies want to come here, what kind of companies start here, what entrepreneurs are doing? Is it really the market that decides that, or does the city government or the chamber have any influence over what's going to happen anyway?
Well, I think the chamber has enormous influence. We talk to a dozen companies every week that are either looking at San Francisco, considering San Francisco, looking for office space in San Francisco, and that first point of contact can make a difference in getting a company to the next level of investigating the possibility of moving here or locating here.
What do you tell major companies when they bring up objections or concerns with the direction of the city? Are we going to be taxed? Are the taxes, in other words, taxes to create more social programs that are important to members of the board? Are we going to have restrictions on parking so that we can't get our workers down? How is the transit? Are the potholes being filled? What do you say to them about that?
Well, there are certainly numerous issues that face all cities, and San Francisco is no exception. But we are a world-class city, recognized around the world for our entrepreneurship. We have a very educated workforce. We have one of the best, if not the best, higher education systems of any city and county in the country. So if you're looking to grow a company, knowing that educated employees are your number one asset, San Francisco is the place to be.
So in reality, no matter what the board may do or what the mayor may do or what any mayor may do or any board may do in terms of policies, in the end, it's the city that sells itself, and that includes what you mentioned, an educated workforce, beautiful environment, quality of life, and so on. Is that the case?
Well, there's no doubt this city sells itself, but the Chamber of Commerce has to take a very active role in making sure that the politicians and the supervisors do not put any roadblocks that are just not necessary for the expansion of our business base.
And what's been your response? I know you've been doing this for a short time now, but you've had direct contact with companies that are thinking about this?
We've had direct contact with companies looking at San Francisco, looking for land in San Francisco, some biotech firms, some bioscience, life firms.
And
yes.
The response to your appeal and your selling of the city?
The response has been very good because we've been able to open doors at City Hall. We've been able to open doors with the mayor's economic development people, and we've been able to get people to the table to take a serious look at San Francisco.
So I get what you're saying, what you said earlier is that if you give them the encouragement or the assurance that there will be a voice at City Hall for them, that they're not blocked out, that's enough, I would imagine, because all the other attributes of the city are that attractive.
It's turning out to be enough, though that's not to say it's an easy road ahead. We need to keep up the
Well,
pressure.
I think from just watching you today that if the way you're presenting the city, I think that the chamber is fortunate to have you, and we're going to be looking forward to good things from your tenure, Stephen Falk.
Count on it. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.